All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Image Bearers. I'm Lacey Connor. What is up? Today we have Miss Chelsea. Say hey. Hello, Chelsea. All right. Before we get to learning about you, we're going to say a little prayer.
Let's do it.
All right. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day. Lord, we thank you for all you have given us. You created this beautiful world, these beautiful people in our life. Lord, as we talk with Chelsea, Lord, may she be seen, heard, and loved, Lord. May you give her clear thinking, clear thoughts, Lord, and just whatever message she has, whatever she's gone through, may at least touch one person, Lord, because we know we do this to glorify you, Lord, and to change people's lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, Chelsea. Hey, girl. I love your glasses.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
These are these are old, but I told Lacey earlier that apparently I have dry eyes from so many years of contact wearing. So I ordered some new glasses yesterday, but they told me to take a break from my contacts if I could, and I don't have children climbing all over me right now. So I was like, okay, I'll just put on my old glasses and we'll give it a go. But
right, looks good. You remind me of the old people on the commercials. Remember the dry eyes?
Yes.
I'm not saying you're old, but like when you said dry eyes, it was like dry eyes.
I know.
Have you had?
And then that's what they told me they told me yesterday. They did these tests or whatever, and I was like, wait, I felt like that was for like older people.
Right.
I guess that's me now. So
we're getting old.
We're
getting old.
Gosh, every
right.
day I feel it.
Right. Now that there's the Gen Zers and stuff, I'm like,
I know.
What's this? What do I need to wear? What do I need to say? The keeping up with the words, like stuff they say.
I know. And my kids your kids too, I feel like are young enough.
Yeah.
Like they're not bringing that into the house.
Not yet.
But I have a 13-year-old brother.
Oh.
And
yeah.
So I'm also trying to he's not really super into that lingo yet, but he will drop a few things. So now my 6-year-old calls me bruh.
Right. My son calls me bro, but because he watches YouTube sometimes and stuff, and he'd be like, bro. I'm like, I am not your bro. I'm your mom.
I'm mom, and mommy is actually what I prefer. So.
Right. But I'm like, I can't believe I just said that because it sounds like such a thing my mom would say to me.
Oh, for sure.
Right. I'm not sure. I'm not your friend. I'm your mother kind of
mom.
thing.
Yeah,
right.
You need to call me mom. Yeah. So
bro.
It's fine.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
that cracks my crap.
Rocking the old people glasses.
Right. I like them. They're stylish. They're retro.
Thank you.
That's what everything that's old is retro.
I love that. It's
right.
Old. It's coming back.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Question.
Yeah.
You are someone who likes to work out or do Peloton.
Correct.
I feel like I could tell. I mean, I can't really tell. This is my own mental thing.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite trainers? Okay. Because you don't do cycling.
I don't do it. We used to do cycling. So I had the bike. Bike was a COVID purchase.
Okay, yes. So was mine.
Yes. Okay. So I loved the bike, but then I feel like if you guys have followed on Keeping Up in Carmel, you've seen I've had quite a issues with my lower back in the last 2 years, and the bike seat was aggravating it.
Oh,
so we had and my husband never really liked the bike, so we sold the bike and we got the tread maybe a year ago now. Okay. So now we do tread, but then we use the app for off the bike, off the tread, strength workouts. So I'm a tall girl, 5'11".
Are you?
Yeah, I know.
I feel like, I guess you're tall, but I didn't realize how tall you are.
I have terrible posture, so
maybe
it's
that's
never,
it.
Yeah,
you're kind of hunching. It's more like 5'10". Okay.
Yeah. If I stand up straight, then it's oh wow, she's gargantuan. But no, it's not. So I love to work out with Callie Gullickson. Because, do you like her?
I like her. Yeah,
she's one of the only tall female instructors.
Oh, so you go with because she's tall, you identify with her.
Well, and I can follow her form because that's the thing with Peloton. You're solo. You're in a vacuum. I'm in my basement. So nobody's correcting my form. I could easily just do something wrong and hurt myself.
Yeah.
And so I watch Callie. I'm like, okay, my body kind of is the same proportions that hers are. So I try to mock hers. And then, so I love her and for especially lifting and strength training.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can really watch her and then do what she does. I do a lot of hikes on the tread.
Okay.
And I love Rebecca Kennedy.
Right. I love her. Her music, she's so jazzy.
And she's so just I'm like, yes, I can do this. And you're motivating me. So yeah, I love her.
I just love Peloton. I do Peloton too because I don't have time to go to, I will sometimes go to the YMCA, but sometimes I do it during nap time, my child's nap time. So the only
Same.
time I'm just like,
You
okay,
can't leave the house.
no, I'm
I
like,
know.
okay. Plus, I
Yeah.
don't want to have to put like cute workout clothes on. Like, I could
know.
just
Oh
put
my
like
gosh.
a sports bra and like some
That's
dumb
right.
pants on,
I
or like
know.
like, and then
I'm the most grungy workout. I know.
right, like I
Yes.
just don't like. I understand. I have some expensive like workout clothes. Like I have Lululemon, I have those, but I just don't want to sweat in them. And plus, I want to
I
just like
know.
hurry up. Like, okay, I
Yes.
want to get it done real quick and then
I
let
go
go.
back and change.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I know.
I can't get in the car, drive somewhere, put my kid in the daycare. And then
Yes.
also sometimes they don't want to be in there. And then I'm like, they're probably crying the whole time. I'm thinking about it.
Correct. Or I get called out,
Yeah.
and then they have to go get them. You don't finish your workout.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
Or,
I've been
and then
there.
I also feel like the silliest person in the weight area because I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. And then I was like, I don't know what this
What
is.
should I do next?
Right? Like, yeah. And then I
know.
feel like everyone's looking at me and these
Yeah.
people are doing the most and they're
Yeah.
looking great. And I'm like,
Over
I'm
here,
no,
like I've got like my 10.
right?
Yeah, I know.
It's like my secret thing. But also I feel like Peloton like hypes me up. I've gone through like so many different trainers. It's like different parts of my life.
Yes. Yeah, I
That-
know. Robin
Right.
was my postpartum
Oh my
go-to.
God. You had to have Robin for postpartum.
100%. She like made you feel like you were like just able to conquer the world.
Yeah.
When your world was,
Slowly
spinning.
falling apart.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
yeah.
had kids and stuff.
I know.
And she like, and plus she was a mom too. So it's kind of like,
Yes.
and she talked about like how she struggled like with her first kid, like coming back and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
oh my God. But yeah. So I was just curious who your person was.
That's how I feel like I gravitate towards them now. But when we first started in Peloton, I was Robin through and through for cycling, and it was
Right.
like right in my postpartum era,
Right.
and I was just like, I'm in love with this platform.
Right.
Because the other thing too is I hate wasting time working out,
Right.
being like, what do I do next, or I can't remember how many sets I've done, and you waste no time.
Right.
My big workout thing is 40 and out because
Uh-huh.
I usually
I
only
noticed
have,
that.
yeah, I only have 40 minutes nap time, or
Right.
somebody's got, or I can only find 40 minutes where somebody is like occupied with like a show or
Mhm.
something, and if I'm spending 15 minutes of those like researching how many
Right.
things to do, I don't have time for that.
No. Plus they pick the music for me too.
Oh yeah.
I like
Mhm.
that because sometimes I will be like, when I used to try work on my own, I'm like, I don't really like this song. And then if I don't like the song, then I'm like, I'm not really feeling this.
That's right.
Right.
And then you're stuck like just swirling about music and
Right.
not working out.
And
I
they play
know.
such good music. I mean, sometimes it brings me back to like my old days where like when they do the hip hop
I
ones.
know.
And then the whole day
Yeah.
I'm like, I
You're
guess I'm listening to Get Low
That's
all day.
right.
Like I'm in the Get Low
Right.
mood.
We're like cooking and we're like dancing and breaking it down. We got Alexa playing
Right.
like 2 Chainz.
It's true. Sometimes I'm like, I guess I'm a gangster today.
I
I'll
guess
pick
you
it. And then
have.
I'd be like, I'm really feeling this. And this is going to follow me through the whole day. now.
Yes, I know. But then you got like a vibe to you. You got like a swagger to you because your Peloton workout. I'm with you.
It's valid.
It
It's so
is.
valid.
Mhm.
People try to hate on Peloton. I'm like, you don't
No.
even know. You don't even know.
I mean, it's good for certain things, and I feel like for our life stage, it is so nice. 'Cause
Right.
we have such a short period of time, and we really can't. I mean, we could, but from like the fluid of our day, like how our day runs,
Yeah.
we have to work out when there's usually a kid napping.
I know.
So you're home,
Right.
and that's just the best if you have that. I feel like.
Right. It is. And the thing is, like having kids and like doing I mean, I do the podcast, you do social media.
Uh-huh.
It's like you try to, okay, this time's for social media. This is for working out. And then
Yeah.
having kids, you're like, I also want to be a great mom. So
And
I also
present
have to
with
be
them.
like, I
I
know. So you
know.
have to be like, okay, we're done doing that.
Yes.
Now this is the section where I
Yes.
do stuff with my kids. Or this time
100%.
I'm done.
Our brain is like just like a bunch of compartments.
Right,
And you just like
it is.
you just like move from one to the next, I feel like. And
Right.
Trying to keep them all at balance. It's impossible.
Right.
but-
So that's it. Like, where did you get that you have, because I mean, you're a very kind of naturally skinny person, I feel like.
Mm.
What made you want to continue to work out? Like, have you always been health conscious?
I was a athlete from
Oh,
like
okay.
young. So I feel like okay, this is kind of a funny story, but I was always very tall for
Uh-huh.
a girl.
Okay.
And so my mom kind of saw that when I was little, and my mom is 5'4",
Is your dad tall?
tall.
Okay.
6'6".
Okay.
So I was taller than my mom in 4th grade.
Aw.
So I was 5'7" in 6th grade,
Okay.
tallest person in my entire middle
wow,
school,
yeah,
even
you
all
are
the
tall.
boys. It was like at that point, it was honestly one of it was one of the most like embarrassing situations. Then I found sports,
Uh-huh.
and being tall like became less. It actually became celebrated, and so I was really grateful for that. But when I was little, my mom put me in dance
Okay.
because she was always in like ballet and like did like dance team for like
Mhm.
her high school, and she would always tell me the story when I was little that uncoordinated football players on her high school football team. Their coach put them in her ballet class
Okay.
when she was in ballet to like help them with their coordination and their like agility.
Uh-huh.
And so she was like, I felt like I put you in dance because I didn't want you to grow up and be like really tall and gangly and uncoordinated.
Oh, she was looking out for
I
her.
know.
She wanted to be
So
a
I
tall,
did,
coordinated
yes.
person.
So I did dance, which was it's activity, but it wasn't ever like anything like a I don't remember like working out or being in the gym when I was little. But then in 7th grade, I was in the I forget, I was in some line at school. It was like the lunch line or like a registration line, something.
Uh-huh.
And the volleyball coach saw me and was like, she's huge. And she was like, have you ever played volleyball? And I had some family connections. I had aunts that had played,
Uh-huh.
but I'd honestly never played like a ball sport
Yeah.
before. And so I was like, oh no. She's like, well, I coached the team, and she's like, basically like, look at you. You're so tall. You need to come try out. So I tried out for the 7th grade team, and then volleyball became like a huge part of my life.
Okay.
And I loved the sport. And again, it was like really one of the first places that I felt like my height was celebrated.
Yeah.
Because I was so tall so early
Yeah.
on. And then I played throughout high school. And then in high school, it got a little bit more intense with like we had like to go. I had a class period that was like weights and conditioning, and it just felt like it just became routine.
Uh-huh.
And then in college, I played volleyball at Butler on the club team, and we had workouts and similar things. So it was just kind of like a thing that I always did. I don't know that it was routine for me until I became an adult, and then it became something that I enjoyed for more of like my mental sanity and mental health.
All right.
Because it just was the ultimate like de-stressor, and my it now serves as like my time in scripture.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I find an incredible connection when I am able to get in the Word while moving my body.
Interesting.
I feel like I can focus my mind
Okay.
better.
I mean, it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it.
I don't know. I was just trying to figure out time that I could make sure that I was dedicated and getting routine in scripture. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm like staring at the Peloton screen.
Yeah.
So maybe if I have this little like place that I put my phone and I can read like the YouVersion app.
Yes. The best app.
Right.
It's so great.
And I'm not running. I'm hiking.
Yeah.
Like I'm walking. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's not like
you're able.
You're not like, whoa.
Yeah. I would not be able to do it if I'm running. I couldn't do it. But I don't run. So I'm like walking at like a incline or whatever, and I can just read the Bible.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Look at that.
Yes. And it has been the most focused that I feel like I have ever been in scripture.
All right.
Because I can't get off the treadmill. I have to be there until my hike is done, So it keeps me in one place, and it keeps my mind from wandering.
All right. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's like a little like chamber.
It is.
No, you are staying here.
Correct.
You're the Lord's word.
That's right. And I'm like going through like the whatever reading plan I'm going through, and I like to try if my reading plan is done early, then it before my hike is done, then I have time to like go back and like reread things and actually like study scripture instead of just like skimming it.
All right.
So yeah.
Huh. Look at that. Learn something new about you.
There you go.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Chelsea. So let's learn a little bit more about you. We will talk about your 600 businesses you have, but
yeah.
Right. But so you started the Keeping Up with Carmel, and then now you do Keeping Up Local.
Keeping Up Local. Yeah.
You have these two businesses that have also like, I feel like local is also like, I mean, like you're helping a whole bunch of other people's like businesses.
Yes.
Where did this like love for a community, for helping come from?
So I'll probably have to I'll give a little bit of backstory.
Yeah, give me a backstory.
Okay,
Tell us.
Okay.
Take us on the journey.
So I, right out of college, went to work for a large, like traditional kind of corporate America vibe out of college. But it truthfully was my dream job.
Okay.
I loved it. When I was a marketing and finance major. That's where my degrees are in. And if you were to ask me, like, what would your dream company and position look like when I was a sophomore in college, it would have been this job. It was everything that I was just super, super excited for it, and I loved it. And I loved my time there. and it gave me incredible experience. And then I had our oldest, who's 6. So we have
Okay.
3 kids, 6, 4, and 2. And my oldest, it's just funny because if you were to talk to anybody who worked with me
Yeah.
prior to becoming a mom, they would have been like, I don't even know if Chelsea's going to take her home maternity leave. She's going to be itching to get back here so quick. Like she's just,
You just love your job.
I just loved it. And I was very like, just like driven to kind of like climb the ladder and get to, and I felt like I was having some success there, which was encouraging. And it just felt like a good place.
Mhm.
And I then, and I just felt like, we kind of had the plan with like where he would go with daycare and just seemed seamless. And I would just like run that play and go back to work. And it would be, I wouldn't even like things would just continue on.
Yeah.
And I just had a huge like self-realization. And it was like a total God moment because it showed me that his plan and his knowledge of me, like he knows me better than I know me.
Yeah.
So it was in the people that he introduced me to when I was on maternity leave. It was sermons that I was hearing at church. Like it was all of these different inputs that kind of helped me realize like maybe you need to have, and I am definitely a person where if my mind is what I think made up, it's hard for me to see different angles.
Okay.
I feel like I'm like, no, well, I know the plan.
Yeah.
This isn't part of the plan. Like, I know the plan.
Right.
So this can't be part of the plan because we already have a plan and it's set. And like, this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these feelings or these inputs that are coming from elsewhere, those aren't part of the plan. So like, we just kind of got to like brush, like we got to move past this. And I just couldn't ignore it forever. And I started to have this heart change where I just felt like I loved my job and I really loved my career, but there was something that was being sacrificed in the 4 walls of our home, which was time.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to give the time to these new person, it would be then people that we've brought into our family that I wanted to. And luckily I worked at this company that was very, very supportive. I feel like this is going to be a long way to get back to how I got to community, but I tried everything to kind of like silent God's call on
That's
my
what
heart.
the Lord does, right?
Yes. I tried like everything. I was like, God, well, like I felt like he was truthfully calling me to go all in and listen to him, which was take a leap of faith, remove yourself from the security of this pretty big company that it's very secure. It's been around for a long time. Like there's no like entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, there's not like it's not going anywhere. And so it was like to leave it felt like a high risk,
right? Because you already had everything planned out. So you were like, "This is what I'm doing.
Yes,
like, I'm dead set. This is great."
And like I was ready to like I went to people's retirement parties at the company because it's one of those companies that you stay at for a long time, and I envisioned myself in those scenarios. Like I was like, this is it. Like I don't need to look anymore. Like I'm just good here. So leaving there felt like a big risk, but it felt like where God was leading me. Just again, in what I was hearing him, like in the quiet of my own soul, but then also this like the inputs that were being brought into my life. And I tried to do everything. I tried to work part-time. I tried to work 80%. I tried to work 80 or adjusted hours. I worked from 7 to 3 for like a year and a half.
That's great. Yeah.
Just to try to get more time to try to balance it all. And it just, the itch just, and like the pull that I was feeling from the Lord just never like, he was like, Chelsea, you're only dipping your toe in and I'm asking you to go all in for me.
Right.
But
you're
like asking you to trust. I don't like, okay, it's scary, guys.
No, I get it.
Yes. And so I finally, after like 2 and change years.
All right.
I don't even remember how long. I decided that I was going to step away. And I took a 3-year leave of absence that has since lapsed. So I can't go back. But they had this cool benefit. So I did that. And I was just cleared my mind and my heart and thinking like I I was going to stay home with my
Yeah.
kids. And like that was what I was going to do. And that's what I was being called to in this season of life. And maybe I could go back
Right.
to work when they're all in school or something. But like, this is what I was going to do.
How
And
was that though? Like coming to that realization, like
it was hard because there's there's the career-oriented part of you that
right,
feels
yeah.
like you're like, and there's, comments from people who maybe didn't understand my faith or what I was going through. That was, I got, how do you feel about like you're giving up your career? How do you feel
Right.
about that? Like, do you feel good about that? You feel like, I'm like, I don't know, but like
Right.
I also don't look at it as like giving up my career. Like that just, I mean, I'm exchanging one thing for another, but these are both important to me. And there's seasons where I feel like I can really lean into career building, and then there's other seasons where I really want to lean into my family. And
Yeah.
then there's times where I try to balance them both. Like some of those comments felt to me like it had to be like, it was very black and white.
Right. But I feel like that's how society, I mean, like
Yeah.
most society is. It's like if you're successful and then you have kids, it's just like,
Yeah.
so
What are you
I
gonna
get
do?
it.
What
Yeah,
are you gonna
like,
choose?
you're like, well, why are you doing? But you're so successful. Why wouldn't you just put your kid in daycare? And there's
Correct.
nothing wrong with people
There's
that do that.
absolutely nothing
There
wrong
is
with
not.
that.
There's
Yes.
different paths. God wants
For
different
sure.
things. Not that one single bit. But
Yeah, 100%. And that's definitely like kind of got the strange looks, the interesting questions
Right.
that I got from people who didn't necessarily understand, but from the people who are going through it with me in regards to like knowing what was going on in my heart, knowing what I felt like my prayer life was telling me, like it was very, very supportive. But it was interesting stepping away because we also moved right around that time. So
Okay.
this is kind of where like the community piece comes back in. We used to live actually right around here. We lived in like South Broad Ripple.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So we were Butler grads and we then moved to Broad Ripple right after graduation. And that's like that's a common Butler
Oh yeah.
grad
No,
path.
definitely.
Like it was like, this was when we went to school there wasn't like all the infrastructure that is on campus now.
Yeah.
So like we had to come to Broad Ripple for everything. Groceries, we had to go through Broad Ripple to get to Target.
Right.
So like just living here felt like comfortable and safe, and we felt a part of the community.
Yeah.
So then we moved up to Carmel. I was a little resistant to suburban life.
Right. It's a big difference.
It is. And I didn't grow up in like a super suburban atmosphere. I grew up in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
There are definitely parts of it now that feel more like where we live in Carmel now that are like very suburban vibes. I lived a little bit more in like, I would call it's a very small city, but like the city portion of it.
Okay.
And so the suburban lifestyle just wasn't something that I was like familiar with.
Yeah.
But my husband grew up in kind of more of a
Suburban. Did he grow up in any area?
No, he grew up in a town in like far, far outside Chicago called Rockford, Illinois.
Okay,
yeah. So
Okay.
they had a little bit more suburban vibes, and he had family that had like lived in like suburbs of Chicago. So
He was all about the suburbs.
he was just kind of like, let's go check it out. And we were looking more originally in like Washington Township because I really liked, we were in like a really cute little elementary school district and I liked it. And then he found this house and he loves golf and it happens to be on a golf course.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to get out of this one. This is where, this is what's we're going to be. And we had actually really loved the house. So we moved up here right around the time. I was still working at that time, but I was kind of like seeing the writing on the walls that like eventually be. So we lived there for a few months before I stepped away. And then I was home and I had all of a sudden I had like all this time.
Right.
And I had a little baby and I was like, I am going to lose my mind if I don't leave this house. Like I am going to be miserable. I'm used to talking to people. The company that I was at was a very heavily like meeting culture.
Okay.
So you were talking to people back to back to back to back all day. And all of a sudden I'm speaking like baby language.
Right. And no one else is around.
It's like a 2-year-old.
Right.
Yeah. And when I'm like trying to have conversation and like begging my mom, like, can you just talk to me on the phone for like 2 hours so I can talk to an adult, And so I was just in this new place, in this new stage of life. And I was looking for something that could like help me efficiently become plugged in with this new community. Because now it wasn't just me running around like trying coffee shops and like new things. It was me with a toddler in tow.
Yeah.
And there's just higher stakes. Like if something wasn't kid friendly, like or wasn't going to be a good fit for me to take him and I to at like 3 p.m. I needed to know that before I went.
Right, yes,
And
'cause,
so, yeah, as opposed to
there's a
like
lot of packing up you gotta do.
correct.
There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to do.
Yes. And if it's not if it's gonna be a bust, like I need to know before we drive all the way over
Get
there.
them out, do all
Correct.
that, yeah.
Yes. So there at first it was kind of like that, and I was looking at it from like the mom angle. I was like, I wish that there was kind of a central resource for that. But then it's kind of grown, and I was looking for it like from the angle of a friend or as a wife
Mhm.
or as a like community member.
Yeah.
How can I get plugged in those ways as well? Because I also found that, like, if I'm only doing kids' activities, that doesn't make me feel connected to the community as a
No.
whole in general. And I'm just like, I'm connected to like the mom community, but I want to,
Right.
I feel happier in a place. This is what I loved about going to school at Butler too. It's a very small school, so you instantly like saw the same people and knew people and felt plugged in to the community, and that's why I loved going to school there.
Yeah.
I felt like that was similar in Broderpool because we'd already built that community going to school nearby. Then we moved up here or moved up to
Yeah,
Carmel, and I was just kind of like, I want that again.
Yeah.
I want to be plugged in all these different arenas. I want to know where to go on a date, and I don't have to like spend a bajillion hours Googling it and reading
Right.
reviews. Like I want to just like know where the good spots are. I want to know how to get plugged into like the local like volunteer opportunities so that I can meet people who are making different like making the community a better place. Like I want
Yeah.
to just kind of like know that, and then I feel better here, and then hopefully if I can share that, then other people would also find happiness and joy here
Oh, yeah,
too.
no, I mean, also the Lord calls us to be in community and stuff, and it's so
Mhm.
easy. I mean, we're in all these beautiful suburbs and community,
Right.
but we don't know what's going on, like,
Correct.
what to do. Like, we
Yeah.
wanna do stuff, but we
Yeah.
also have kids or we have other stuff, and it's like we
Yes.
need somebody to, like, tell us cool stuff to do.
Right, yeah, or just like how to get like, because like if you grew up there, then you already know like maybe you already have a friend group, or
Yeah.
you have like places that you've always gone to, and then you're not really. It just becomes routine.
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of like, oh, I didn't grow up here. I really don't know anything about this, so I'm just going to share it as if it's new for me for the first time because it is.
Yeah.
And then from the perspective for others, if it's new to them, then they get to learn something cool too. If it's not new to them, they've heard about it. Maybe they're seeing it from a different perspective of
Yeah.
a restaurant they've always known to be around or something like that.
Right? I also think, yeah, you definitely show different perspective on, like, stuff, like, I've been to, and then I was like, "Oh, I didn't know they could do that or this
Yes.
and stuff." I
Yeah.
just love how you've partnered with so many, like, local things. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of influencers and stuff, and I've actually not done my research for what my statement I'm about to say for you, but I feel like you partner mostly with, like, local people.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's all, like, you don't get, like, random products from, like,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
Athletic Greens or something.
Correct.
You might,
Yes.
but, you know, like,
You like
those
athletic greens.
I know,
I
right?
would partner with you. No, I was kidding.
But I'm saying, like, I noticed you keep it a lot just in, like, Indiana and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, we try. Yes. So the premise of this, and this is with Keeping Up Local too, like with
Yeah.
the new affiliates, this is consistent across everybody, that the goal is to we kind of have like two audiences here.
Mhm.
Like we want to be a resource for community members who live in these geographies,
Yeah.
all walks of life. New to town, been there forever, parents, not parents, married, single, like anybody. We like to say that our affiliates are geographic, not demographic.
Okay, yeah.
We're speaking to a community of people who've chosen to build their lives in certain areas around the country. And if that is the choice that you have made and you're living there, then you should be able to find value in some way from each of our platforms. And so, like, that's the people the community members, people who live there is one audience. And then the second one really is the local businesses who have chosen. I mean, it is daunting.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is a business. You're running your own thing
thanks,
here.
dude.
Yes, of
Thanks.
course. It's daunting, and it takes a lot of courage to like decide like I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know?
Right?
Especially too, then if local businesses like I'm going to put the investment to like open something brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And I'm going to really like just pray that this goes well. So those are our other, like, we want to lift the people who have chosen to have the courage to take the time and the effort and the investment to like build something local.
Yeah.
Whatever expertise that is, whether you're a local restaurant, you're a local like wellness business, or whatever it is, you're somebody who lives here and you have taken the time and made the leap of building that business here, like we want to celebrate that. And so like that's the other audience that we
Yeah.
have is like celebrating and lifting up and raising awareness
I mean,
for
you definitely have helped a whole bunch of, you helped a lot of businesses
yeah.
and stuff, like a
Yeah.
lot of ones that I guess people would normally it would take them time to get an audience and stuff. You
Yes.
definitely from just showing them, even just a small amount, people were like, "Oh," because I heard
Yeah.
when I was telling people I was interviewing you, they're like, "Oh my gosh." It just cracks me up how, you're such, a Hamilton County
No,
celebrity.
I hate that. I
It
don't like
is, I
it.
know,
I do
right?
not like
I
it.
saw some, advertisement thing for you for speaking for something, and it was
Yep.
Indianapolis celebrity, and I was
I
like,
know.
"Oh my god,
I
that
don't like
cracks."
it. They use that. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm like, ah, because then it when I show up when people see me looking like a hot mess at the grocery store with my kids who are freaking wild animals,
Right.
I'm like, now I feel like I have this title,
Right.
and I have to be like, oh, everybody behave, so.
Right?
And I
That
was
is
like, I am
hard.
just as
Just Chelsea.
all over the place as everybody else, and it's just, yeah. So I'm like, I try to debunk that as much as possible because it is way too high of a standard. I feel like
Right.
for me.
How is that talking about that, how is that like? Because when I met with you the first time, there was two people that came up to you just
Yeah.
randomly, and I'm guessing that happens. I mean, we were at some random indoor
Right. I know.
playground, so
Love
I
that
could
place though.
I know,
Shout out to
right?
Busy Bee.
Right,
You
Busy
do
Bee's
good, Jen.
quality.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
quality. I take my kids sometimes when I need to answer
The
emails.
coffee is good.
The coffee is good.
They play and you can just hang.
Right,
It is
and
so good.
they're boxed in, so even
Yeah.
if they are
Nobody's running.
yeah, no one
No.
they can't run outside
They
the
literally
door.
cannot escape.
Yeah, so that's
Amazing.
what's good. So I can space out for a second. and answer emails.
100%. Yes, I'm with you. So I think it's interesting. It's this business is it can be like a fine line and a tricky thing
Mhm.
to navigate because you when you see success, that's great.
Yeah.
But backing up, I love when I meet people and
Oh yeah, no,
IRL.
you have such a personality. I was nervous when I first met you that you were gonna suck, and you,
So glad. Did I suck?
no, you
Okay,
did suck.
great.
You were super personable, but I'm just always. I don't want to be. I'm not a critical person, but I'm
Yeah.
always just I'm in that person. It's what you see on Instagram isn't
Is it
real life.
real?
And
Uh-huh.
so I was I was so happy that you were willing to meet. You got check the box there,
There you go.
being willing to meet with me and
Yes.
stuff. But then I was I don't know how she's gonna be. Is she gonna be oh my gosh, I'm this? I mean,
Superficial.
yeah,
yeah.
influencer. Because I've ran into
Yes.
some influencer people that
Yes.
are kind of they are like that. They've let they don't even have that many following. And I'm not trying to say you're
But
defined
either
by
way,
your following,
correct.
but they act like they're
You let it go to your head.
yeah.
I know.
And so I was semi nervous. I was okay,
Yes.
she'll meet me, but I didn't know she'll be yeah, what, I'll be asking you questions and you just be sidetracked and stuff. But
Yes.
you were very engaging and stuff.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, you're
I'm glad I
welcome.
did well that
Yeah,
day.
dude, you aced it.
Because you never know, depending on the day. But
Right.
that's what's hard is that I think when you're in a business that is public
Yeah.
and I have chosen to show my face on my platform.
Mhm.
So I do get to I do have the opportunity to meet people, which is a blessing. I think that I love when because it's hard. I can tell when somebody sees me and then they whisper. They're I think that's her.
Right.
But then they don't ever say anything. So then I almost sometimes I don't want to be too forward and be like, hey, I
Right.
know you suck.
Right.
That is a total not doing that,
Yeah.
But I love when people do come at the end because then it's it removes awkwardness for me where
Mhm.
it's yeah, okay, what's your name? Let's be friends. I would love to just chat and that is awesome. But what's tricky in the fine line I feel is that you don't you do unfortunately I've seen this and
Yeah.
I've seen this with people that I do this with have done this or I've been in community with in this kind of social media. I don't want to the term influencer, but that is what it
I mean,
is.
this is-
Yes,
it's the most,
influencer
but this is
world.
what it
Yes, that have kind of what ultimately comes down to, I think for me, is where are you finding your identity in?
Yeah.
If you let this become your identity, it will show when you
Mhm.
meet people.
That's true. Yeah.
It will show because this is all transient.
Yeah.
God has blessed me with this opportunity to be able to help others in this way right now.
Yeah.
And I will continue to try to shepherd it in the best way and steward it in the best way that I can to honor
Mhm.
him. And eventually, he may call me to do something else. But, like, if my identity is wrapped up in this holistically and I'm defined as a person by who I am on my digital media platform,
Mhm.
as soon as that gets threatened, I I'm either gonna crumble or I'm gonna lash out and do something that is sinful that I would be
Yeah.
like, that would not be serving of God and not honoring Him. If I let it become my identity as soon as I meet somebody, like, I'm gonna let that kinda, like, inflate my ego, and I'm a fallen, sinful, broken person who struggles with pride just like everybody else does, so I'm speaking to this not as an expert, but as somebody who needs to hear it as well,
Yeah.
and that it is really just important for me to always have a heart check and being like, Your priorities are God, your
Right.
relationship with Him, you're being a loving, serving, merciful wife.
Yeah.
Although my
Right.
husband doesn't need a lot of mercy, he's like the most amazing person. But either way, um, being a good mom to my kids, being focused and
Yeah.
being present with them, and being a good example of like what I would want my daughter to see as a godly woman, or my kids to look at as a godly woman. Same thing with my husband, and then everything else.
Yeah.
And that is where KUIC falls in there, and Keeping Up Local falls in there, and those are all important things, and I feel like they do serve. I try to always have them be honoring God and serving God
Yeah.
in those, but it is important to not let that line jump everything else,
Right.
and so w that is something that I've learned now, like 2.5 years doing into this. I've not always had those in the right
Mhm.
priority. That I have, and I have good people in my life, like my husband, like my friends, who can speak, like, godly truth to me and be like, "Girl,
Right.
you are wrapped around this axle that is not even an axle that needs to be available for you to be wrapped around," you know?
Yeah.
Like, you need to put things back in check with, and I really appreciate that. And so that is helpful for me, and I feel like it's just a constant reminder daily that I need to make sure that I
Right.
put my stock in the right
I know,
things, you know?
I can only imagine because you have a presence on there.
Yeah.
You put I mean, because do you use, like, a planning thing, or do you post, like, on the spot most of the time?
I don't post. I actually was just on my team call last night with Keeping Up Local team, and I love my girls. It's all women now. It doesn't have to be eventually, but I can call them the girls now because it's only girls. But, they're just each bring such a unique, perspective of, like, previous experiences,
Mhm.
and that we all build each other into each other. It's not like everybody come and listen to Chelsea give a talk about something.
Right.
It's very interactive. We're all learning from each other, building into each other's platform. And I got asked that question last night, and I was like, guys, I don't even think I'm going to be the best example for this. So if I even pull it up, I would be embarrassed to do it. But we use Google Calendar
Uh-huh.
for our family.
Yeah.
So like each kid has a color.
Yeah.
My husband has a
You
color.
have
I
to
have a
do that.
color.
You have to.
You have
You
to.
do.
So then I've weaved KUIC and Keeping Up Local into that as well. They have their own colors. And so I use a mix of that. But then like last night I was on the phone. I would use like some notes on my phone. Like, I mean, it's not a perfect system by any means. And I was on the phone last night, and my girls are bringing in like these incredible like, planning
Yeah, no,
tools.
there's so many things now.
And she was like zipping all around. I was like, oh my gosh, so impressed by some of these things. So I may be better in the future. I don't have a good
Alright, you
a
don't have
system
any.
right now. I mean, I use my system. I wouldn't be one that'd be like, you should use this
Yeah,
too.
it
It
works for
works for
you.
me.
It works
Yes.
for you.
Yeah. 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 My crazy brain that tries to keep a bajillion things straight.
Alright, it
Yeah.
works for you.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been talking a lot about, the community and stuff, but you've brought up God a lot. Tell us about your journey with God. Like,
Yeah.
how does it all start? Were you raised in a Christian home? And
Mm-hmm.
then, like, how's it? Because you talk about it now, so you're
Yes.
definitely trying. And when I met with you, it was a lot of, like, I could tell talking to you that you do, like, you want to glorify God with this platform you have.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think
Where'd
that
your love for God come from?
That's such you know what? I just want to recognize you for a second, because not people don't ask that question enough. There's not enough platforms like this that like most of the time it's like a, hey, do you believe in God? Okay, cool, me too. You
Right,
know, like it's
right.
like it's not like a gosh, let's just come on a podcast
Right.
and talk about your faith because that's so props to you.
All right. Well, I
Props
think
for
also
Lacey.
we were
Thank
so
you for
like
doing what you
it's
do.
like I feel like sometimes we feel like we're the most talking about God. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like we're labeled like
for
it's cool to
sure.
be like we're a Christian and stuff,
Yes.
but then
You're
when
like,
you
not a
start
Jesus freak.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the Jesus
Mm-hmm.
freak. Like we're now if you start talking about it too much, it's like she's doing the most.
She's being so extra.
Yeah.
I know. Totally. I'm with you. But I feel like the people who are doing that, who label, like, I feel like I could even have potentially been in that category where I didn't outwardly say that, but I was seeing people live for Christ and I was thinking those thoughts,
hmm
but then I was actually the one who needed to see it and hear it the most. And so it was just a natural defense mechanism for myself because I was like, shoot, I actually need to hear this, but I don't want to hear it. So I'm just going to label them
Right.
something
I
else,
know, right?
So annoying
So
of me.
true. I know. Well, just being
Yes.
humans annoying.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Our pride.
yeah, I mean, I want to freak. Yeah, I'm with you. But so okay, so I was raised in a home where God existed, but I
hmm
wouldn't say that we were um like really into
Yeah.
practicing in scripture. I was never made to doubt that God was real
Yeah.
and that he was and we prayed, but we didn't go to church. So I went to a Catholic school
Yeah.
for grade school
Okay.
because my dad's side of the family was a big Catholic family,
Okay.
and so my my first experience with God was really in that setting. There's a lot of we won't go into all of the crazy details because there's a lot of crazy details, but my parents split when I was 9.
Okay.
And my mom was not Catholic. And so was she wasn't connected on to us coming, staying at that school.
Yeah.
So we stayed there until 5th grade and then we transferred to the public schools.
Okay.
And my last few years at Catholic school weren't the best. My parents were getting divorced.
Right.
There was rumors about it at school,
Uh-huh.
and it was just not the most comfortable place for me. There was thankfully there wasn't cyberbullying then, but it was more in person,
Right. In person.
in person bullying. And it was just kind of time for us to get out of there. So we went to, and so then I just kind of had this perception of God as being more aligned with a lot of the works that
Yeah.
I saw in the Catholic Church, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I just wasn't taught it in the right way, I
Uh-huh.
don't think. It was for me, I was viewing God as a works-based God
hmm
and very heavy religion versus community relationship with Jesus. And so and then I also had this negative experience where had some people who weren't very nice to me.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of I'm associating God with that.
Yeah.
And so I went into middle school, very different culture change for
Right.
me as
From
well.
public school.
From a very small private Catholic school to a large public middle school in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I was exposed to a lot of new things that I
Uh-huh.
just didn't that was just not even around
Yeah.
in Cali. So I felt like I just was kind of just vibing in that for a minute and just trying to see what this new world was like. I remember myself praying a lot, but that's really the only relationship with I wouldn't say that I was seeking after him in
Yeah.
relationship with him. I was talking to him and praying about silly little things,
Right.
but I remember talking to him a lot. And then in high school, I same kind of thing, where I was involved in Young Life.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yes. So I was an attender.
Okay. Yes. You
I
attended.
attended. I was not in part. I didn't go to the camps. I didn't I didn't have a church home, but I thought Young Life was fun, and I thought the people there, especially the leaders, were different, and they were different that I wanted to know more about.
Okay.
And it was more because there was a lot of stuff going on in my house at that
Mhm.
time. It was not always. My mom would become a single mom basically overnight. My dad kind of flew the scene.
Mhm.
He's never ever been really involved since I was really little.
Uh-huh.
And so my mom was just she went from being a stay-at-home mom to needing to provide for my brother and I. And
Right.
it was just, I like have all the respect. I look at her now and I'm like, how did you do that?
Right.
And I'm also so sorry for any time that was terrible to you as a teenager, you know? Like, it was like,
Right.
gosh, teenage girls, I mean, I just felt like I should have only been kind and loving, and I just wasn't,
Right, but we
truthfully.
just don't know when we're
I know.
teenagers.
We think we know.
We think we totally
I
know.
knew
Oh, yeah, we
then,
knew. We thought
you
we knew
know?
all the stuff. I look back and I'm like, I knew nothing, but I thought I had all figured out. Dude,
For
my life,
sure.
I mean, thank the Lord my life didn't go how I thought it was be because
Same.
I would have been married to someone that I would not have worked out with.
Unanswered prayers are sometimes the best. God's plan is way better than ours.
Right.
100%. And so, yeah. So I feel like I was aware of the Lord, but I wasn't in I wasn't in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I was really into sports, played a lot of volleyball, wanted to play in college, didn't, but I also knew that my education was of utmost importance. And I wasn't getting looks from schools that really had anything that I really wanted to study, which was I want to study business.
Okay.
And so I fell in love with Butler, and just as a school, I actually visited the school like right during the like madness of the second time that, or no, I visited around the time that they were headed to the Final Four the first time.
Okay.
And so the campus was just alive, and I loved it. So it's like they have a club program here. It was pretty competitive. Their club program was really good. When I was there, they actually went on to like win a national club title. And so I was like, this is going to be good volleyball. I can still play, but they have a great business program, and it's not too far from home, and I want to do it. So when I got to school, I joined a sorority, and in my sorority, I would love for the girls, I'm not going to mention their names, but it'd be really cool if they could hear this because I feel like I've never had like a public platform to say it. But there were some girls in my sorority who were just infectious. And I was just like, what's different about you?
Yeah.
You're so full of joy. You're so kind to others. It's always something that I like aspired to be like, but I truthfully, I don't feel like I was there. I just didn't have, there was a lot of stuff that went on with my family that I felt like hardened my heart.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like I was overly warm or I was overly like inviting to others.
Right.
I was just kind of like, I'm going to do me.
All right.
And like, I'm going to pray. But other than that, I'm going to do me.
Yeah.
And like, if I have some friends, great. If I don't, like, I'll be all right. I've been, at home. I felt like there was lots of times growing up that I was like, I'm just going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And kind of wing it and just if it's going to get figured out, Chelsea, you're going to figure it out. So that's like kind of like this. It hardened my heart a little bit, and so I felt like I was like seeing this group of girls that was just so warm, so kind, so inviting, and they were just genuinely joyful. And I was like, I don't know what juice they're drinking, but I want it.
Yes.
And I want to figure it out. And after getting to know them more, the secret sauce was Jesus.
All right.
I mean, it's the secret sauce. They knew Christ. They had an incredible, beautiful faith. They still do. And they introduced me to the church that we go to now here on the north side of Indy. And everything just changed for me. I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah, 19, 20. And we started going to this church regularly. And it was the first time that I'd heard God talked about like as a person you can have a relationship with, not like somebody you need to like
do that.
Then you can talk to him.
Right.
Like, and it was the first time that I gone to church, and there was like, it was kind of like Young Life. There was music that was awesome.
Right.
People were dancing and singing, and I understood the message. And the person who was delivering it was like using language that was familiar to me,
Yeah.
And it completely changed my life. I started dating my now husband when we were sophomores in college, and he had a really strong faith.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
I always feel like it's like the opposite. Like I always feel like you meet, like I met my husband. He was, he was, on the fence and stuff. Okay,
so
look at him.
So he was raised in an amazing Christian home, and but it was interesting. It was really strong faith. Yeah. But he was hesitant to try this new church because he had an incredible church back home, and he was like, "That's my home church." Yeah. And we were in college, so we didn't really know like where we were going to be. So he was hesitant to like start going to a new church. I feel like he felt like some like loyalty to his old church and didn't know if he was gonna Like, it felt like we were, like, liking a new church or something like that.
He was cheating on the church.
Yeah, exactly,
He was
exactly. I feel like he maybe even used that language at some point. But yes, yeah, like that. So I had started going with these girls, and then we started dating. We kind of became a little bit more serious, and I was just kind of like, "Come on, come with me. Let's try
Yeah.
this out." And we didn't go every Sunday, but we tried to go regularly. And then it just kind of became part of our life. And we got engaged between junior and senior year, summer of junior senior year. People thought we were freaking
Right.
nuts.
Look at you guys, the youngins.
We celebrate 10 years of marriage this year.
Aw.
That's just, but I look back at it and we were 21 years old and everybody was like, "Are you insane?"
Right?
And like looking back, I was like, maybe I was insane.
No,
You know,
you
like
just knew.
I know. It's just like, and so so we got engaged and we knew that like Christ is going to be the center of our marriage. We were not perfect.
Yeah.
And we made a lot of decisions in college that would reflect that.
Aw.
A lot of decisions that would reflect that. But we tried to really make more conscious decisions that were reflective of like what Christ would
Right.
ask of us to do. And yes, we were absolutely not perfect. But it was something that we tried to be intentional about. So we got married in the church. We had a Christian ceremony. I very much felt like God present there, but I still hadn't like given my life to Christ. I was in it with him.
Right.
And I don't know that I can even say why I hadn't, but I felt like I hadn't made the choice to fully like just surrender everything to him.
Now I have a question.
Yes.
I wonder, because I had a father who wasn't around a lot too. Do you think it was anything had to do with like how you were brought up and your dad not being around? Because when I first became a Christian, and I still struggle with this day, not having a father around, I feel like semi made me hard to like. I could get down with like the Son and the Holy Spirit, but the
God, the
Father,
Father.
it just it made it hard for me. Like when even now I look back, like when I decide to give my life to the Lord and stuff, I still struggle with like that like father being fully in kind of thing.
Yes.
Because I had a father who loved me and stuff, but he was just
Yes.
in and out and stuff. Now we
Yeah.
have a good relationship, but
That's
growing
good.
up, the fundamental times and stuff.
Yes.
And do you feel like that was ever a thing?
I mean, I definitely think it's easier for people to visualize and like connect with who God the Father is as a father if you have a good father.
Right.
Like if you have somebody who's really present and building into your life. And like, so
Right.
I do feel like that was hard. I feel like there
Right.
was a lot of unanswered questions for me.
Just out for my survey. That's all.
Yes.
That's all.
No, I'm with you. I feel like, yes, 100%. I think that was part of it. I think there was a lot of things that I just felt like, I thought I needed to have all of my questions answered from God before
Right.
I could jump in.
Right.
You'll never, now knowing, like, you'll
Now,
never.
now we know.
Like, that was a crazy thought, but I was still like coming through this like workspace to have a very like logical, my plan, like step-by-step things. And I was like, well, I still haven't resolved this question yet. Like, God solved it. So I felt like maybe that was holding me back a little bit. And after we got married and Christ was still like a huge, it was like the center of our marriage and our lives. I just felt like it was time for me to, like, I just felt called that like this is missing.
Yeah.
And so on November 15th of 2015, I got baptized.
Love that you know the date.
Of course. This day, like literally my life changed forever. So it was, and I will never forget the experience. I was baptized in that church that brought me to Christ.
Yeah.
We still attend there today. And
it's a good church.
It's a good
I go
church.
there too.
Oh, that's right. It's a great church. And I've just seen so many other like friends come to Christ through there. And my little brother, who is 13, he was also baptized in that church last year.
Last year. Oh, so he's new. Oh, that's so great.
So
to see.
my kids are going through. My oldest is now started talking about baptism, and so
oh my gosh,
crazy.
Oh, it gives me chills.
I mean, I prayed for it every single day for the last almost 7 years.
You're gonna be such a weeping willow when that happens. Oh my gosh, right? Anything my children say that has to do with God, I'm just like,
we listen to like the Bible, and I hear them singing it. I'm like,
you're like, oh my God,
right? I mean, seriously. So yeah, so I feel like, I mean, that's kind of roundabout way where I came, and it's just it. I feel like in culture today, well, I don't even like to say the word, like, secular culture.
I know, right? I hate
hate those
saying that because I
terms.
feel like it's very, like, divisive.
It
Like, I
is
don't wanna
very
be
divisive.
divisive,
I don't like
but
it. I
it's
don't know how to
the
describe it sometimes.
non-Christian
Correct.
world.
They talk about life with Christ or, like, being in a relationship as being something that is, um, like, restrictive.
Yeah.
And for me, my relationship with Christ has been the most freedom
Right.
that I've ever felt, because it's just freedom from judgment. It's freedom from I have an audience of one.
Yeah.
My goals are always clear. Like, if I am swirling and on what if it's not pleasing the Lord, that's like the easiest to, like, okay, do we do it or we not do it?
Yeah.
And for me, there was so many years as like a teenager and in college, I was like, gosh, I feel like I know that this is the wrong decision.
Right.
But I don't have a strong enough moral compass and, like, connection with God for
Right.
me to feel convicted to make the right one.
Right.
And there's just so many things that I'm like, gosh, I should not have done that. And I
Right. Well, the Lord forgives us for
Mhm.
all those things.
I know. He's such a graceful, like, filled, merciful Lord, and I am so grateful for that. But I find a lot of freedom in knowing Him and being in a relationship with Him now as an adult, because it does help me live a life that is I feel the fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness,
Yeah.
all that flowing through me. The more that I'm in Scripture, the more that I'm, like, in relationship with Him, and, like, those produce good things, fruit with other people,
Yeah.
with my kids, with my husband, with people that I work with in KUAC. And when I'm removed from that,
Mhm.
things just don't feel full of joy. They don't feel
Right.
full of love. They just feel more cold or
Right. Temporary kind of.
temporary.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like
Fleeting.
exciting for yeah, fleeting,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. It just cracks me up you saying when you said when you first went to college and stuff, you were like hard heart, like not
Yeah.
very social, like I do me kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then now like how
Feels
it just
different.
it feels it does. I guess the Lord's with you there. The
I
Holy
mean, I don't
Spirit
know.
changed you.
He's definitely done a work on me.
He's
I
definitely
needed it. I mean, yeah, that's why I say if you talk to my mom, like 18-year-old me, she was not pleasant a lot of the time. I was
Oh my god.
angry a lot.
That's so funny.
And I was just like, I was mad at the world. There was a
Mhm.
lot of things that went on in my childhood that I felt like were not fair,
Yeah.
and they probably weren't fair.
Yeah.
But, like, that I did not know God well enough to know that He was still with
Yeah.
me, and I wish I did,
Right.
because I felt alone a lot of it. And so it did. It hardened my heart, and I just felt like I was just kind of like solo dolo. I'm just out here. I
Yes.
was like Miss Independent,
Yeah,
like all
right.
these vibes. And I wasn't, at the end of the day, like, I thought like empowering myself in that way was going to find joy,
Mhm.
happiness, peacefulness, and it just stirred up more, like, restfulness and
Right.
anxiety and anger and things that, like, they are not pleasant to feel.
Right.
Like, as a human, it's not fun to feel anxious. It's not fun to feel angry.
No, it's not.
You
It's
want
not a
to
vibe.
rid yourself from those things,
Right.
and I felt like by standing on my own, I thought I was gonna gain those things, and, like, by shutting myself off, I would protect myself from, like, hurt from others and, like, people who are friendships that went bad. Like, if you just keep your walls up and you just stay, like,
Right.
strong and hard, like, then you'll be protected from all of those, and
Right.
ultimately, it's the complete opposite.
I know I always say, oh, one, I got this from a Peloton instructor where she says to let it go like Elsa, because otherwise you'll build a ice castle. But it's
100%.
so like valid for like real life, like
For
what you
sure.
just described. You gotta
Yes.
let it go, because otherwise
Mhm.
you're gonna have this like clear, beautiful glass castle, but it's
Yeah.
gonna
You
take
wall
away from
everybody else out.
yeah,
Mhm. And you'll
just
be
like
alone.
Elsa.
Exactly. She's good. The cold doesn't bother her. The cold bothers me,
Right.
okay?
Right? But yeah,
I
so when
like to
they
be in a
said that, I
warm
was like,
yeah,
"Oh my god, that's such a parallel to just, like,
totally.
people in life." I mean, even my experience and stuff, there is, like yeah, how you grew up does form, like, how you view the world and stuff.
Mhm.
With, do you think, like, the trials you went through at young and stuff, do you think then that helped you with, like, I don't know where I'm gonna go with this, but we'll see.
Let's see.
Let's see. Just, like, going into, like, just, like, picking your job later on, like, just life. Like, do you think
Yeah.
those things did help you when you had trials, maybe, like, beginning with, the starting of your platform for
Yeah.
keeping up?
I think that I am there's definitely lots of part of my, like, upbringing that I I mean, I think my mom would agree too that, like, she would have changed it if she
Oh,
could.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
And now that we're moms, we
Right.
try our best.
try
but
our
we are
best.
going, and we
Yes.
do what we think is best.
Yes. And I think that but I am appreciative for some of the
Oh, yeah.
things that happened, even though they were not fun at
Yeah.
the time. Because I do feel like it has, then now sometimes this is a blessing and a curse, but it does kind of instill like a hustle mentality.
Right.
So, and that's where I need to keep that in check sometimes, because I feel like I can borderline on like a workaholic situation, because I just have always like, we gotta hustle. We know, like, if you wanna make some money, you gotta go make some money.
Yeah.
If you wanna go, like, if you wanna learn this skill, like, you gotta go learn
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing private lessons. We're not doing, like, you gotta go figure it out. Like, and that was kind of the mentality growing up. And so, as like in college, it was very much like, if you wanna get good grades, like, there's no tutor. You go get them.
Yeah.
And like, just because like we couldn't afford a tutor, like I couldn't like, if I wanted to figure it out, I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
If I wanted something, I had to go, and that independence now, I feel like, mentally,
Yeah.
did a work on me, because it was hard for me, to like let
Right.
like my husband help me with
Right.
things, or to lean on God when and ask for help. And so that was a negative in that perspective. But then in others, I do feel like it has kind of ingrained this like hustle mentality and my work ethic.
Yeah.
But then I do have to put it in check,
Yeah.
because I could work sun up to sundown, and
Right.
then be mad at myself for
Yeah.
it, because I pushed everybody out, because I get so like focused on I'm an achiever.
Yeah.
Or like, regardless of what it is, there's like a little like burst of serotonin when I check off something that I was like sought out to do.
Yeah.
Just by just by achieving it. I don't even know that I feel like satisfied by the task, or the end result. It's just getting to the point of achieving that result that
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I achieved it. What's next?
Right.
And I struggle with contentment and being like, okay, like, let's just be content and like be happy in this for a moment.
Right.
But I do feel like sometimes, where that work ethic helped me kind of get through
Yeah.
some dicey waters, just by working my way out of it.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful for that in that
Right.
way.
Yeah. It sounds like the Lord, like, it was bad what happened and stuff, but he used it to help you with your rest, like starting this business you
Yeah.
have and stuff, and the hustle of that. But then I think also God got the glory, because now you've seen, now that you've relied on the Lord, that he's given you that peace that you wouldn't
Yes.
have otherwise had and stuff. Because now you're like, it puts it in perspective, because now that you do follow the Lord, you are like, this is not the most important. And you
Right.
can,
Yes.
you're not alone in this. Like before, you were the
Yes.
deuces, it's all about
Yes.
about me kind of thing.
Right.
Like, we're going to do me.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah.
And that's where the freedom comes, because if I didn't, this platform would not be successful if I didn't know the Lord, because
Right.
I would be so, I know how I was, like, there's
You're
good
like, I know
examples.
me.
I know what I was like before, like, letting God kind of transform my heart, and I'm still a work in progress. I'm not by any means like fully transformed or speaking from a place of like wisdom, but an everyday working through this, if I didn't have God to like keep me in check, I would be so like, because I feel myself drifting this way now, like wrapped, like obsessed with like building more success and
Right.
more, that it would just drown everything. It would drown relationships out. It would drown, I think it could drown out like my kids.
Yeah. Because that's what
Me,
happens a
you
lot.
know,
You
it
hear
just-
it. Yeah.
So much noise. And so God really keeps me centered in, like I said back earlier, like the priorities that I need to maintain.
Yeah.
And which that will lead to a fruitful, like joyous, love-filled life. Still struggling. I do not have that figured out, but I try to lean on
I
God
don't think
for
we'll
that.
ever have it
I
fully
know.
figured out. We're all
One
working.
day you
We're just
hope. We pray one
practicing.
day.
We're just right in heaven. We will.
In heaven. That's
Heaven.
so
Then you'll be
true.
like, oh, okay.
I should have done that on Earth. Life a little easier. I know. I'm with you.
So I was first time I met with you, you really opened my eyes to like the whole social media thing. Like, and I definitely like you talking about God and stuff, your like intention for the thing. Like you told me like you like erase bad, or I don't know, maybe I'm telling on you now. You erase like the bad comments and stuff because you don't want that kind of thing and stuff. And like, I don't know if you're on TikTok anymore, but you weren't like, you're like, I don't go on TikTok 'cause it's negative. Like you opened my eyes to, I wouldn't say I thought like social media was just like, whatever, people just try and do the most, but like you actually had like an actual like purpose for it, which I guess now that I do a podcast and stuff, now I'm like, oh yeah, you have to
Now
have
I get
purpose.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Yeah.
get it. But back then I didn't.
Yes.
And I can see like and it's influenced by your relationship. But what is the like, I guess the intention is to just create a happy place, right?
And I think I think like I'm okay
I don't know if my
with.
question made sense.
Yes,
but
it did. And I'm
okay.
okay with people pushing back on
Yeah.
things. I think it's what I like to say, and this is like applicable across like all Keeping Up Local affiliates, is that our platforms are G-rated.
All right. Yeah.
They're not for kids. We're not Miss Rachel. We're not like this. Our audience is not children.
Yeah.
But if you're scrolling Instagram and your preschooler who doesn't know how to read is listening, or your fourth grader who does know how to read is reading, there should not be anything that you feel like you need to hide from them. Like I even like give like a trigger warning if I'm about to say something about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like I try.
Actually, like just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Don't listen to this next story on loud. That kind of thing. So if there are things like if somebody is like dropping an F-bomb in the comments,
all right,
that's not for us.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that. Because there's nothing that I think that I would post that would warrant that type of reaction.
No, especially stuff you right.
But I'll see it and I'll
That's
like
bananas.
Yes, I like people have like I live in Carmel. Okay?
Yeah.
The online hate for Carmel, Indiana is insane.
Really? Well, then why don't follow me?
It is thick and so evident. I luckily feel like, I cannot project what God does, but I do feel like this weird kind of like bubble around my platform that I've been shielded from a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because if you go to if you were to go to I don't even know if they have comments turned on right now, but like schools in Carmel that post, oh my gosh, the comments are nasty.
That's actually banana sandwich. Like I don't understand how people where people think they're like okay with doing stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and so I will post things like Carmel parks.
Yeah,
we got great outdoor parks.
Oh my God, yes, Carmel has the best.
They have such good ones. I didn't build them.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna try to educate people on
the
best way to go there, or just like put a roundup together. And the comments that I get are like ridiculous, pointed at me with profanity, and I'm just like, so like that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
It's hard for me to get through, because sometimes if the reel goes or if the post goes to a broad audience, it's hard to keep track on all of the negative ones. So you can go out and see them, but I try to find the ones that have like profanity in them, because
that is the craziest thing ever.
It is, and but yeah, so that's one thing that's been interesting starting this platform, is just my realization. I did not know this going into it. I have since found out, being now in it, that the online retail for this city is intense.
That is so weird for Carmel. I'm like, then don't follow me, fool.
That's right. Yeah, like you don't have to say anything.
You don't have to. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. You don't have anything nice to say. Don't say anything at all. Right. That's what Thumper said to Bambi.
Right. Exactly. My favorite ones are I'll get it like, especially like on like a park. Like this is I'm just thinking about this parks reel that I did. I got a couple comments. Like, I don't even have kids, but this is blanking ridiculous. And I'm like, what?
What?
Okay, why'd you why stop?
It just hurts my heart that people are so sad. Like,
why
they're
just take the time to type that?
Right?
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt
they do.
Other people.
It's
such a valid.
It is.
thing.
It is so valid. And so it's, in those moments, I try not to get like angry, but more be like, they probably need prayer,
right?
Like something's going on that they felt compelled that they needed to like cuss me out on a little kid's park reel.
Right?
Like,
y'all need Jesus.
Yeah.
Y'all.
but
that's big that you're even like to deal with that and stuff. A lot of people that would, like what I've seen and heard, like a lot of people are just like it's hard for them and they can't, but like you recognize that like they are hurting and stuff.
That, and like you just kind of have to, I think maybe this is an odd like roundabout benefit from some things that happened when I was a kid that I've built up some defense mechanisms in my brain that
Mhm.
kind of put like the hater blockers on
Yeah.
because I just like don't have time, like don't have capacity for that noise. I'm like trying to protect my inner peace. And like for example, I had this reel. Actually, I'm so mad that it went as viral as it did because it has nothing to do with my platform. I posted this funny little, I don't even, it's not even funny. It's this little thing that we do with my kids for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, this is a super easy tradition. This year for Christmas for us was our year of tradition.
Okay.
We were trying to get away from gifts.
Uh-huh.
We still gave gifts, but we're trying to not make gifts the focus. We're trying to make traditions around like Jesus.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Yeah.
The focus. It was our first year we didn't have an infant either.
Oh, isn't that such a great
It
feeling?
was just different. Like
Yeah.
everybody could like understand when I talked, and everybody had like an investment in the holiday that
Mhm.
was they had like a gift that they wanted, or they had a Christmas program that they were excited about. Like it was we every year prior to this we've had one who was just like goo goo gaga, you know,
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
was just, so it's kind of fun. We're like, okay, this is our year that we really want to try to figure out like what are our family traditions? Like we want to center them around Christ, and like what are our kids going to remember? Like this is what Christmas is about. And so this is one of them that we do, and we tape off wrapping paper
Yeah.
in our entryway.
Okay, yeah, I saw
Did
that
you
reel.
see the reel?
Yeah, I saw the reel.
Okay, 18.6 million views.
Wow.
It went insane. And the comments, oh my gosh, attacking me as a mother in the comments. Like, what kind of because my littlest one in
Yeah.
that specific video, like he didn't really get to rip it down.
Yeah.
So what you didn't see in the video is like we held it back up and he ripped it through.
Yeah.
We went out, no big
She
deal,
got it, yeah.
whatever. And I mean, it was just so like that kind of stuff.
That is so great. Like,
it is.
I mean, just being, I mean, it was a whole nother podcast, but
Yes.
being like a mom and like just being on social media or stuff like
Yes,
that. Like I get
yes.
judgment just not sending my kid to a Christian school, like in a public school,
Yeah.
being a Christian mother.
Same.
And that's a whole, I mean,
Whole new thing.
a whole new thing.
Whole new
Right? It is. It's crazy how, like, I mean, like now it's just because everyone has a glimpse into your life.
Yeah.
And now everyone has an opinion on how you
Yes,
should raise
yes.
your children.
For
and stuff.
sure. Most of the time, my following is very heavily concentrated in our like community.
Yeah.
And 98% of everybody
Just that
is
reel
so
was
kind.
killing
That
it.
reel went crazy, and to lots of people who didn't live here. So it was just like a bunch of random.
That is so
you
weird
know?
that it went like that.
I could not tell you any idea why that happened.
Right?
No idea. I'm like, this was nothing that nothing
Right.
that my platform is
You're
about.
like, I'm just trying to share some
I
fun
was like,
thing that I
"This
thought
might
of.
be fun." Yeah, this like little like evergreen piece. We were getting ready to like set it up, and I was like, oh, I've been talking about tradition a lot on my platform. Like this is a fun, easy one people could easily
Right.
replicate. Oh, maybe a couple thousand people will see it.
No, we
Yeah.
have millions.
Oh my gosh, it was
That
like-
cracks me
Yeah,
up. That is so funny.
It was crazy, but it does. Yeah, I try. We talk. I mean, I feel like internet comments are in a lot of illustrations at church.
Wow, oh my God.
Would you
right?
agree?
Oh, no.
They're
Yes.
always in it.
Right?
Which, as a content creator, it honestly helps me
Right?
because he will.
I mean, this
use
whole
them.
this whole like
Yes.
series lately
100%.
has been like, I don't know if the Lord just trying to talk to all this
Correct.
people in like social
All the
media
keyboard
platform.
warriors.
Yes.
100%.
But I think also our church just gets a lot of backlash too, because it's big, but then it's
Big.
small, but then it's like
Mhm.
it did some controversial
correct.
stuff. I mean,
Yes.
not like they didn't do anything like they had anything. People coming down the ceiling, none of that crazy
Correct.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just some of the sermons.
Just some of the yes, and it was controversial to like mainstream culture.
Yeah.
So but I feel like I mean, I'm curious how those illustrations are used or land on people who like don't
All right.
create content on social media.
All right.
Like,
But I think everyone struggles with like social media is just something everyone struggles with.
yeah,
Like with
I know,
our
totally.
21-day prayer thing. You know,
Uh-huh.
people like
They're
talk
fasting from it.
Yeah.
Most people are fasting from social media.
I know
that I've
people are
talked
like,
to.
you should. I was like, well, I wish I could, but unfortunately, my podcast
work is associated with it. Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll limit it. I'm not going to do it
Mhm.
at nighttime now.
Right. Yes.
But
I know there's my like core group of girlfriends. We're all talking about what they're giving up. Social media is it's easy because it is.
it is, but it's so crazy. I mean, like we all have that, but it's so crazy how social media. But I think that it still lands on people because people still get like spicy comments.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
think there's just a lot of mean people in this world. It's so sad.
It does make me sad.
It does. Like,
I
or
know.
people, maybe they don't mean to, the thing is, they don't mean to be mean. Like, They just like there's a lot of hurting people.
Mhm.
That's why we're here trying to
Right.
proclaim the gospel right
That's
now.
right. I love that. That's great.
Right?
And
But it is.
It is. And it does make the big world feel small
Yeah.
because I mean, we could have a clip from this podcast go viral. And
Yeah.
I mean, we don't control that.
No.
So like a lot of people, that's where I don't know, as a mom sometimes I'm like, I don't want to shelter my kids, but
Right.
do I?
Dude, oh my God, Chelsea, we're about to have like a whole nother podcast.
Do
We gotta
I?
pick up kids later.
Yeah,
But yes. But yeah, no, that I mean, those are all such hard things because none of us, I mean, we didn't grow up in the social media world.
No.
Like
Yes.
I mean, like I got a cell phone maybe when I was in like middle of high school. Like
Yes.
once I got a car, I got a cell phone.
Okay.
And
Which
so,
that makes sense.
because
Yeah.
so then something happened to me
Right.
and stuff. Like
you
so
need
we,
one then you're
yeah.
driving. Yeah.
But we didn't really grow up with like I remember Facebook, but Facebook wasn't until like I was in maybe like high school, college. I don't know. I lied about my age. So I was not 18 at the time. You had to be 18 to be on Facebook.
Oh, on Facebook? Okay. I feel like I did that too.
I lied about my age, but
Yeah.
now it's like there's so much like there's a whole different. There's Instagram, there's Facebook,
Yes.
there's
TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah, there's all
Yes.
kinds of things.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's everywhere.
Right?
Snapchat, the
YouTube.
youngins.
I mean, I find my son sometimes going on YouTube
know.
and stuff. I mean, now he loves that the podcast is on YouTube because now
That's
he
fun.
just show
He's so
random.
cute.
He'll
so
show
cute.
random people and stuff.
I love that. I
Oh,
know. That is really sweet when the kids will hear my voice on, like, my husband will be like watching my stories and they'll hear my voice coming from his phone. And I'll be
Right.
like, do a double take and I'll be sitting somewhere else, but my voice is coming from the phone. Like, mommy? I'm like, yeah, no, it's just actually phone, mommy. Real mommy's over here.
Right.
I'm in the kitchen,
But I feel cool.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, my kids love it.
I know,
They
that is
do.
really sweet.
I know
That is so sweet.
we had a podcast because we do like a Bible study on here and stuff with my
With
husband.
your
and
husband. I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, they thought we were just
Mom and dad.
And they're
Aw.
oh my gosh.
How old are your kids again?
They are 5,
You have a
4,
baby.
and 1.
That's right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
When he was, I forget, the youngest, boy or girl?
A girl,
Girl.
Daisy.
That's right. Daisy, that's right.
Daisy.
She was with us. And
Yes,
when we met
yes.
the first time, she was like in her little pumpkin seat.
Yeah, now she
Baby.
is 6. Someone asked me, she's 16 months today.
Oh,
Someone was like, how old
so
is she? I was
sweet.
like, I have no
I don't
clue.
even know.
This third one
I know.
the third one, I forget, like, I know she's like, I just want to stay with, she's 1. Like, I don't know how many
Yes.
months she is. So then I have to like count on my
Correct.
fingers.
She's 1, and she'll be 1 until she's 2.
Right?
That's how I know. I was the same way. I was like, I can't keep track. The first one, though, I was like, he is
Right?
17 months and 30 days.
Right? Dude, we did I mean, the first one was like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, first one, mine is Vancouver. He is so like, he was so smart because I worked on it. And then the more
Right.
you get, the more
Oh
kids
my
you
gosh,
get, the
I
more
know.
you're like, dude, it's fine. So-and-so, you teach them this, you teach that.
100%. I know. I was like, we're doing sight words
Right.
with my first. And now I'm like, do you know how to like turn the TV on?
Right?
I go,
Right?
You go ahead and do that. You go ahead and do that.
You do that. You're more
No,
independent.
I
Go
do
get
need to
your
be more
fork.
intentional
Go do
with the
that.
second and the third.
I know,
I
right?
really do.
I
need
know.
to.
It's something we both need to work on. Yes, especially the third. Second one, kind of. I don't know. It just depends on the day.
Yes.
Depends on the mood.
Yeah, I know. My first 2 are boys, and they're now old enough that like they are showing their brother colors. Like they're each other's absolute best friend, which is super fun.
Right.
But then they're also like each other's like arch nemesis, and those two things can flip between one another in 30 seconds.
Right.
Like you guys were just playing, like you have been playing together for 2 hours, made up like Star Wars robot battle,
Right.
and now you're both crying. How did this happen?
Right.
Like what do we do? So, and then my youngest is a girl, and she's
Yeah.
just running the
Does she
wrist.
join in with the boys?
She tries
All right.
to command everyone.
Oh, she does.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. We're gonna have our work cut out.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how because Daisy I mean, she's 16 months, so she kind of just turned 1 and stuff. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Currently, right now, so I have a boy and then 2 girls because I have
Yes.
Vancouver, Zara, and Daisy.
Okay.
And the 2 girls, they love each other, but they get after each other.
Do they?
Oh my God.
I've kind of heard that. Like
It's not too bad, but I mean, like right now, it's just like one place, like Zara's playing with the Barbies, and then Daisy wants to play with them, and then she
Yeah.
gets mad
yeah.
and stuff, and then she'll like, I know,
Yes.
she gets mad, but not too bad. But yeah, the 2 opposite, Vancouver and Zara, they're 20 months
I love
apart.
their name.
Oh, thank you.
So beautiful.
And they're like best friends, but Zara
sweet.
tells on Vancouver a lot because
Mm.
Vancouver watches what are supposed to be called bad shows on YouTube, which they're not. They're just like kids for
Kids
some
playing
reason.
with Play-Doh?
Like weird stuff like that. And
Why
I'm
do
just
they
like,
watch that?
I was like, Vancouver, I'm weirded out by this
I
because
am.
there's like
It's
adults
weird.
sometimes be like,
Yeah, they're
oh,
like,
look at this.
Look at Johnny, he's made out there. I'm like, oh, what?
Right?
Who? What? Yes,
Right?
I'm with you.
So I tried to keep, and thank the Lord, now I have Zara that's like my little like police person. And she'll just come, she don't even like yell, she'll just come up to me like tap me and be like,
Yeah.
Mama, Vancouver watching a bad show.
Yeah.
You probably should go in
You
there.
should go do it. So
You should go change it.
okay, so what is your with the kid like the exact same age? What is your take on like? Do you show your kids on social media?
Well, not right. I mean, you gave me a good. I do not right now. I mean, like I do because I don't really have that many people.
Yeah.
But I am like, I mean, like you when we talked once, you talked about like having not shown because people come up to. I mean, it made total sense.
Yes.
Before I talked to you, I was like, why are these weirdos not showing their kids?
Yes,
Like,
I always used to. Yes. Yeah.
But then you told me, I mean, like, if I do make it big, because my kids are very, I mean, they're not, I mean, like, like, we all think all our kids are great looking and stuff, but, like, they're very distinct looking kind of kids.
Okay.
So, like, I mean, but I don't know. We'll see if the Lord makes this real big.
Right. I know. It's hard because I struggle because there are so many moments that I wish I could share.
Because you just came back from Disney, and I bet you were like, I would love
so many things.
Right.
And, like, truthfully, like, from a business perspective, it would probably make my content better. You know? Like, it would probably, like, me telling you that they were so excited and, like, teared up when they saw Minnie Mouse.
Oh, my gosh, right?
Does not equate to me showing you.
Right. Because who doesn't love a good video of, like, a kid being super pumped?
But, yeah. So,
but
it does hurt.
It
was
hard.
Yes.
You got to be a mom. You got to protect your kids.
It was a hard decision, for sure, to make. It was because it was just like it was definitely a trade-off.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. But you got to protect your kids. But it was just, it blew my mind when you explained it to me. I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Because before I was like, why are they putting stars in front of people's, like their kids' faces?
I know. I thought that was weird too until I kind of like knew why they were doing that. But I was like, or like people put, like I'll put like a little emoji in front of my kids' faces. And my mom always texts me. She was always like, this just freaks me out. I like look at it. I think I'm seeing your kid's face, and then all of a sudden I look, like do a double take, and it's like a weird emoji face. And I'm like, what happened to their face?
These people, these parents, they crack. Our parents, they crack us up.
Yeah, I know, it's funny.
They always got the most silliest opinions.
Yes,
they're the most.
That's funny.
All right, we probably should. Friends, we got to wrap this up because we got some babies we got to pick up.
Okay,
but before we leave, what is going on? Anything new with like? Can you describe real quick what Keeping Up Local is? We know the Keeping Up Carmel.
Yes.
But what is Keeping Up Local?
Keeping Up Local. So Keeping Up in Carmel is essentially the test case for Keeping Up Local.
So you had this in mind?
So I wish I could say I had the foresight that I did. But I quickly did after we launched Keeping Up in Carmel.
Okay.
So after Keeping Up in Carmel launched, and it kind of I felt like I was getting a good response from the community. I felt like it was adding value to people's lives. Our biggest thing that we want to be known for as an organization at Keeping Up Local is that this is a resource that you can bet on finding value.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different strategies and things that you go to social media for. We really want to be known as an organization that like adds value to communities, people who live there and the businesses. And it's all about value. And I felt like the value was starting to transfer from Keeping Up in Carmel. And then I was getting DMs and messages about like, I wish I had this in my area, or I am not that far away from you, but we don't have that in Greenwood or the south side of Indy or in Brownsburg or whatever. And so then my wheels started turning a little bit, and I was like, well, let's see if we can replicate it with. It was low-hanging fruit. My sister-in-law is incredibly talented, and she lives in Greenwood.
Okay, because I remember when you launched
her.
Yeah.
Yes, so she was like not too far after, maybe 9 months after KUIC launched, we started talking about it because they're originally from Fort Wayne as well, but they moved to Greenwood for my brother. She's married to my brother, so my brother's job brought them down here, and she has digital marketing experience, and she I wasn't going to have to teach her from the ground up. She was already like incredibly talented. It's like, oh wow, this could be.
That's crazy. Like the Lord even had plans.
I know. I was like, this could be. And then she was kind of getting to know this area, kind of like I was when I first started my platform. So it's like, let's see if we could replicate this kind of model on the south side. And we did, and she started to deliver value in her area. And then we were kind of like, okay, maybe we could do this on a larger scale. But there was a decent amount. We were just kind of like two girls winging it, which we still kind of are. But there was a little bit more from like a business perspective that we needed to put into the structure of the organization to make sure that we were like, my husband's a CPA, so he's like,
Oh,
we need to make
gosh.
sure like the taxes are like
Right.
legally we have things in place. I wanted to get some like legal protection on some things that we do, so like
Yeah.
trademarks on names and things like that. And so it took a little while. It took like 18 months for
Okay.
it. Plus, we were still trying to run each of our individual platforms, and we're both moms. She has 2 small kids too, and so it took about a year and a half for us to kind of get like all the ducks in a row. And then in October 1st of 24, we finally like had everything ready to kind of take it to the
All right.
public. So Keeping Up Local is essentially the parent company over all of these different affiliates in different communities across the country.
Okay.
So we're trying to replicate a similar play where this is this centralized digital resource.
Yeah.
Right now we're primarily on social, but we also each have like a unique website with resources, as well as a weekly newsletter that goes out that details all of the top events. It's like one of the longest. I started. It's called the Enlist.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, I started that when KUAC launched, and it's just like the core of each of our affiliates. We never miss a week. It's like you can bet and depend on it.
Yeah.
And so each of our affiliates have that as well. So if you're traveling to a place where there's a Keeping Up Local affiliate and you want to know like what the locals are doing, you'll look at that list.
I want to do what the locals
Right. Like if you're trying to like skirt the tourism things
Yeah.
and you want to do like what like the locals are doing,
the cool stuff.
that you check
That'd
out
be
the
cool.
Enlist before you go there. And then eventually we would have our goal is and our hope is to have affiliates in a lot of different regions and a lot of different states across the country so that we can kind of be
That's
this
crazy.
resource. So yeah, right now we're in 7 communities. Myself and Carmel, like north side of Indy, Greenwood, south side, Brownsburg, west side, downtown Indy. We have a really cool local ambassador there who I used to work with
Ah.
at our first job out of college. She's since kind of done a similar path to me and stepped away from that gig. She is a little girl, and she's like chosen to build her life with her family in downtown Indy.
Yeah.
So she runs downtown Indy. Very cool perspective there. We have our newest just launched in Southern Indiana, Louisville.
Okay.
So down and
Oh.
yeah, that one's cool. And then we have Rockford, Michigan, which is like suburb of Grand Rapids.
Okay.
And then we have Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Right. That's
I know.
that's a fun one.
Super fun. We're learning. It's really interesting to see how like communities, non-Midwest communities, operate in regards to digital media platforms.
Right.
And like where do they go to get their source of information? Are they going digital? Are they going social? Are they going print? Are they looking at billboard? Like where are they getting their information? So it's been a fun learning curve to like learn different cities as we grow.
It sounds like also you can have to go visit them.
I know. Well, we were just talking about it'd be really cool. Like like have these affiliates we can go visit, and we also like want to like big future plan. We'd love to like have like a fun like retreat where we all get to go.
Oh,
to, like,
right.
Maybe we all go to Albuquerque. Like none of us have been to Albuquerque. Most of us
Right.
haven't ever been there before. So like we get to go see where she's at, and we all get to, just be together. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's fun.
So so that's what that is. And that is kind of like a second baby, I guess, to
All right.
KUAC.
All right. So if any of you guys live in those areas, check those out.
Yeah, that would. I forget podcasts. I mean, this is nation. This is
Right.
global, baby.
Right? I know.
You
I
can-
saw a few people in like South Africa and like other
What?
South. Well, we do have like friends that are missionaries, so I wonder if that. But then like
that's
I've
cool.
seen, and then I've seen in like England because I have a friend in England and
Love
stuff. But, like
that.
different states too.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see how, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah,
that person listened to it.
That's so cool. I love that
Uh-huh.
you get to have those metrics too. You can get
Oh, yeah.
I would geek out on that. I feel like that's awesome. But love that. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for
Oh
you.
my god, thank you, Chelsea.
Mhm.
All right, we will go now because we gotta
Okay.
go pick up our babies.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Chelsea, for being
Thank you for having me.
on.
This is an absolute honor.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, guys, this is Image Bearers, and I am Lacey Kana. Bye bye.